Last minute bullets. What would your neighbor say about this? I have no idea. All right. In the reading section of the exam, we have areas that we have to attack in our particular order. We're going to change the order of the test and put it in our particular order. I strongly suggest you guys do the sentence completions first in 20 to 30 seconds per question. Then you do your grammar questions. And that would be about 20 to 30 seconds each. Then you do your bullet questions, which would be about 20 to 30 seconds each. And why do we rearrange the order of the test when it should be sentence completions, reading, then grammar, then bullets? Because the reading is dirty. We need more time for this, up to 2 minutes per question. If you follow the order that I just suggested, step one, step two, step three, sentence completions, grammar, bullets, then you can come on back to the reading questions. You have up to 2 minutes per question. So if you have more time, that means you have more accuracy. Then you can move on down the line. All right, let's take a look at these bullet questions. There are three of them on this page. That's the document that I handed out in class. And if you're new here, you're just coming across the video, you don't know what I'm talking about, the documents, you could always contact me and I get those documents to you. Actually, here, if you really want them, just text me at 786-877-7231. And if you're in particular needing bullets advice, then just text me the word bullets and I'll make sure to get that information to you so you can follow along with the video that's presented in front of you. All right, there's some tips and suggestions about the bullets right here. So you can pause the video just for a couple of seconds, read through it, because I'm going to go through this. All right, if you've unpaused already, the bullets. Now, I told you that there was a question number 29 that came before question 31. There's a question number 30. Now, if you take a look, that would be 5 bullets questions, which means that question number 29 would be the easiest. Question 30 would be like easy, medium. And then question 31, this guy would be medium, a true medium. The next one would probably be called medium hard. And then the last one would definitely be difficult, meaning that most students have answered that question incorrectly. Now, if you're preparing at the last minute, you're not trying to worry about the toughest questions. You know you're probably going to get them wrong. So once you feel that you're kind of snagged on the question, just guess on an answer or your dummy answer today and move along. Start getting to the reading passage questions. But let's ignore the easy because they're too easy. So this is the method of madness. For the bullets section, when you get to it, just ignore the bulleted items and then go immediately to the recipe of the question. In this one, I want to make a distinction as how they create medium level questions. This one, they reformatted the question just a little bit. The recipe of this question is found here. Students, or the answer, is supposed to emphasize the relative sizes of the two capitalist populations. Now, remember what I've just underlined, because in the next question, you're going to see how they flip around the wording of the question to try to confuse you with this particular question. So, which answer emphasizes the relative sizes of the two what? Capitalists population. So we have to answer that question specifically exactly how the recipe is given to us as a question. Now we read answer choice D, just to show you how dirty these guys are. Check it out. Comparing, right? Emphasize the relative sizes. Comparing Vietnam and Mongolia, 7,700,000 is 8.1% of Vietnam's population. And then it tells Anne 907,000 is 31.98% of Mongolia's. Man, that sounds like a great answer. I'm going to keep this answer. Now I'm going to check answer choice C and compare it to D. Now read carefully. Here, let me change the color real quick on this so you see what's going on. All right, this particular one. Even though Hanoi, population 7,700,000, is larger than Ulaanbaatar's population 907,000. Hold up. We're talking about Hanoi and Ulaanbaatar. The previous answer talked about what? Vietnam and Mongolia. What's up with that? How come there are two different places in each one? Hanoi, Ulaanbaatar, and Vietnam, Mongolia. Take a quick little sneaky peek of what we had X'd out in the bullets. Ulaanbaatar is the capital of Mongolia, and Hanoi is the capital of Vietnam. And what did the question talk about? The two capitals' populations. So which answers we're going to get rid of? We're getting rid of D, because Vietnam and Mongolia are not the capitals. However, Ulaanbaatar and Hanoi are the capitals, not Vietnam and Mongolia. Dirty trickiness. So we're going to keep answer choice C because that does emphasize the relative sizes of the capitalisms populations. Now let's compare it to answer choice B. The populations of capitals Mongolia and Vietnam, 907 Ulaanbaatar and 7,700,000 Hanoi, respectively. Now we want to be specific. Hanoi and Ulaanbaatar B is not giving us a total emphasis on the relative sizes. Answer choice C does a better job. B's out. Now let's compare A and C. Mongolia's capital, Ulaanbaatar, which has 907,000 people, and Vietnam's capital is Hanoi, which has 7,700,000. Now, I always stress to you guys, get very familiar with your comma rules. In this particular answer for answer choice A, what's the main sentence? Mongolia's capital is Ulaanbaatar. That is the main sentence. Then you have a comma in which. Anytime you see comma, anytime you see the word which, it should be a comma for it, which has 907,000 people. All that information would be considered unnecessary information after that comma. So all this, if I erase it, check it out. I erase it. It's unnecessary. I don't need it there because what is the main sentence? Mongolia's capital is Ulaanbaatar. Now, the next sentence after your fanboy, you guys remember fanboys? Comma and? Yeah, so you have a comma and. It's going to connect another complete sentence. What's the next complete sentence? Vietnam's capital is Hanoi. Then you have comma. Again, you have comma. What comes after the comma? Which has 7 million people. All of that information is unnecessary. That comes after the comma. So rather, you have two complete sentences which are not focusing or emphasizing the capital's populations. It's totally emphasizing the fact that Ulaanbaatar is the capital of Mongolia and Hanoi is the capital of Vietnam. That's it. So therefore, answer choice A is dog dookie. So the best answer is answer choice C. Dirty. That's how they take easy questions because the easier questions, you guys are going to nail them. But the medium level questions, you got to be careful with their trickerations. Let's take a look at the next question. Again, I'm ignoring the bullets and I'm going to look for the recipe. Remember the previous question? I underlined the recipe to the question right there. Check out how they're normally shown to us. The student wants to do what? Wants to explain how the House of Wisdom preserved the world's knowledge. The previous question, they try to jack us by putting the recipe at the end of the question or the end of the setup, and this one is always at the beginning. If you want to take a look at the next one, check out how it begins. The hardest question. The student what? Wants to make a generalization about the kind of study conducted by Glickman, Brown, and Song. That's all we care about, the underlying portion. But the very first question on the sheet, which is the medium level question designed to kind of trick us and stump us, they put the emphasis later on in the setup, but usually they're at the beginning of the setup. And I don't care what I didn't underline, I just need to know the recipe. All right, with this question, we're going to attack our answer from the bottom up, trying to explain how the House of Wisdom preserved the world's knowledge. Could it be answer choice D? The House of Wisdom collected writings from different countries. Yep. All right. So far, it's explaining and created, paper versions in Arabic to be studied and shared. That is a good answer. I'm going to keep that answer. Let's compare it to C. Writings from the Greek philosopher Aristotle and the Indian mathematician Io, whatever, were preserved at the House of Wisdom. That's nice you tell me they were preserved there, but can you explain to me how they were preserved? They do not do that. D is a better answer. What about B? Founded in Iraq in the 8th century, the House of Wisdom employed many scholars as translators. Yeah, but can you please explain to me how were they preserved? Forget that noise. B is weaker than D. Now we compare A to D. The House of Wisdom was known for bringing together knowledge from around the world. That sounds good, including from Greece, India, and China. But did you tell me how? Heck no. So the best answer is D. Next question. Supposed to be the hardest question, the last. Bullets question. What are we going to do? Ignore. Ignore. They want you to read all that stuff, so you ignore it. What's the recipe of the question? The student wants to do what? Make a generalization about the kind of study conducted by Glickman, Brown, and Song. You notice how I said wants to make a generalization. Most students will read right over that word and not even think twice about thinking about it. Does that make sense? Won't even think twice about thinking about it. What is generalization, ladies and gentlemen? The big overview, the big picture, not very specific, it's just general information, right? So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a generalized answer. We're not looking for something very specific. So as soon as we find something that is broad, but it's got to be on topic, then we're good to go. All the others, if they're specific, get rid of them. We want it to be general. Answer choice D. Researchers have used statistical methods to address questions of authorship within the field of music. That sounds pretty general. I'll keep that one. Let's compare it to C. Remember, anything that's very specific, good night. It is likely that John Lennon, not Paul McCartney, wrote the verse for In My Life. That is pretty specific if you ask me, so D is better than C. Let's check out B. There's only an 18.9% probability. Stop. That is super specific, super duper. So B is out. Answer choice A. Based on the statistical analysis, Glickman, Brown, and Song claimed that John Lennon wrote the verse of In My Life. Very specific. Which one was the least specific or general? Boop, D. And that is how you destroy bullet questions. And we showed you a slick medium level question. Question number 32 is right in your face. But question number 33, most students answer that question incorrectly. Why? They did not pay attention to what generalization means. All right, let's wrap this sucker up. If you needed a copy of the document that I showed here on the screen, it's only 3 questions. So you can actually just go into College Board and look for practice tests to see additional bullet questions. And then remember, 20 to 30 seconds per question will go a long way so that we can have up to 2 minutes per reading section. Or if you have any additional information that you need to share or have some questions that need to be answered, just contact me, 786-877-7231. I strongly suggest that you do subscribe to the channel because if anything new pops up, bing, you'll get first access to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, peace out.